voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories, Africa's best. We the people, ABC Amba TV, Ambazonia Broadcasting Corporation. The voice of the voiceless, the voice of Ambazonia, connecting the world from Africa with untold stories.
Fellow Ambazonians, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you find yourself, and welcome to this very important broadcast. As you can see, I have a special guest. This is an exclusive discussion with Tapari King, and we're going to have the first phase of this discussion with Dr. Patience, a beauty. Dr. Patience, good evening and welcome to my studios.
Thank you, Pat. It's a pleasure to be here today with you.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me. And let me just say greetings to everyone watching from all over the diaspora, from ground one and from home front. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming. It's unusual that you have two persons talking in this studio, but this is a very, we call it an August guest. Am I correct? August guest.
That's exactly
And
what it
I've
is.
not been on the screen for some time. I would say this was necessary. It was an important call I had to attend to. But let's get down to business. It's been Canada. A few days ago, Melanie Joly, Foreign Affairs Minister from Montreal, sent out a communique purporting herself as a mandated facilitator of some talks we understand that has been going on among a folk we call Coalition for Surrender. And there's a lot of confusion because Cameroon has sent out a contravening statement. Before that statement, you had a group of these individuals, Coalition for Surrender, had a document to endorse this process. Even after René Sadi, the spokesperson, porte-parole of La République du Cameroun, has denied Cameroon's mandate given to anyone, we still have the United States Embassy making statements that seem to suggest, I'm talking about the United States Embassy in Yaoundé, making statements that seem to suggest that there is either a disconnect when it comes to the communication. Somebody is playing a game somewhere. Perhaps the Coalition for Surrender they have their friends at different places in their own days, United States Embassy's office, and these individuals everywhere are making statements. If it be that it is a scam, then I'm asking myself, why should Anyangwe, Joayaba, Yerima, Akwanga, Sisiko sit themselves together to manipulate and deceive Amazonians? Because as it stands, with all the documents and statements made, there is really nothing serious that was going on in Canada. Dr. Patience, perhaps you want to take a start. Let us begin from the statement of Melanie Joly. It's important that we process it. I understand the Vice President has spoken. The Secretary of State for Communication has spoken. And now I'm here with the Secretary of State for Women's Services to speak. Let's go through this document. Melanie's document, we'll read it and go through it. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Comrade Tapadi King. That statement from the Foreign Minister of is it Foreign Affairs in Canada, Melanie Joly, was came out on the 20th of this month, January. And in that statement, she clearly states that Canada has been mandated to be a facilitator to bring peace in Cameroon. And one thing that struck me in that sentence, in her statement, which, if you don't mind, I want to read, because I usually like to go exactly to the facts as I see them, as they're stated. Canada welcomes the agreement by the parties to enter a process to reach a comprehensive, peaceful, and political resolution of the conflict. The parties have also agreed to form technical committees to begin work on confidence-building measures. The agreement to enter a formal process is a critical first step toward peace and a safer, more inclusive, and prosperous future for civilians affected by conflict. She continues, we commend all parties for engaging in substantive dialogue. We encourage all stakeholders to support and work with the parties to advance.
Yes. Dr. Patience,
yes.
I'm not cutting you short.
Yes.
I want us to take this very slowly.
Yeah.
The words you've used, and the words say formal. Am I correct?
Yes.
And I want to believe if something is formal, meaning parties, legal parties, like the Republic of Cameroon, should have individuals representing them with what they call in French lettre de mission.
Absolutely.
So if it is formal, not because it's an Angelina Jolie or whatever you want to call her, Melanie Jolie, that is making a statement that should flatter anyone. You get it? So what is formal in whatever she said is the question I like to ask. Perhaps you want to continue reading.
Well, that's a good point. I would not even read everything. Let me just read something, but then I answer that question.
Go ahead.
It says the parties to this agreement are the Republic of Cameroon, the Ambazonian Governing Council, and the Ambazonian Defense Force, the African People's Liberation Movement, and the Southern Cameroon's Defense Force, the interim government, and the Ambazonia Coalition Team. These parties further express the hope that other groups will join the process. So, to answer your question, we have seen a signed document dated January 21st from 4 individuals that are supposed to be representing Ambazonia, right? We've seen the document signed by, which we can go into detail, signed by Cho Ayaba of AGOFC, signed by Yeremia of IGK, signed by Dr. Kwanga of APLM, and signed by one Dr. Taylor, which many people didn't know, representing Ambazonia Coalition Team. Now, when you said formal, when I read it said formal agreement, we haven't seen anything signed by La République du Cameroun. And until we saw that denial from their Minister of Communication, we believe that something was there, right? If we had not seen that statement that was just came out on the 23rd of January.
Now you're talking about the individuals who signed a document.
Yes.
And we had Capo Daniel purporting and saying a lot of things. So you had Kwanga, Akurumba. These individuals all signed a particular document.
Well, what names are you mentioning? The names that signed that document were Akwanga,
yes,
of APLM, Cho Ayaba of EGOFC,
Yerima of Koningi IG.
yes, and Taylor. So I didn't see anything with Capo Daniel's name.
No, Capo Daniel was talking about it.
Okay.
But you had Akuru. Did Akuru sign?
No. This particular statement, Akuru's name doesn't appear on it.
Okay.
So when you have somebody signing on behalf of Team Ambazonia Coalition Team,
yeah,
then you would believe that all the groups that are members of Ambazonia Coalition Team have endorsed this process.
Yeah.
And that's why they have somebody signing on their behalf.
Yeah.
And we are still waiting for somebody like Comrade Bo Herbert to come out and say, no, we are not part of this. We never gave this person permission to sign on our behalf, or even Pa Atang of Scam, or Cheps from Rouen. So there are individuals that are members. And by the way, the IG, our IG, the main IG, had technically been kicked out of Ambazonia Coalition Team. That's what they believe. So this Ambazonia Coalition Team, that is...
now, before we even get into Ambazonia Coalition Team, there is so much in this document. This document by the Canadian
Foreign Minister.
Foreign Affairs Minister. There's so much in it that we need to process.
Yes.
She is claiming to be a facilitator that has been mandated. By who?
Good question.
Is it available in that document?
It's not. But let me tell you what I think.
Okay, go ahead.
You know that for quite a period of time now, they've had meetings in Canada. Starting back, there was a coalition for dialogue and negotiation that met in Canada, Toronto specifically, 2019, and they met again 2020 or 2021. So they've been having meetings.
Now let's talk about these recent groups of people going to Canada. We had the Vice President reiterating. We had President Sako was invited. He denied because the Canadian consul or representative who called him said Cameroon was not being a part.
Yes.
That's a statement of fact. And also said that they have not been mandated to mediate. Now, as evolutions take place, what we're observing is there's a digression of public statement, high government officials like Melanie Joly making statements that do not seem to correspond. So there were chances at the time that this message came out, there could have been chances that President Sako was lying. Until Rene Sadi came out to deny.
Well, you know, in that particular statement from Melanie Joly, yes, that's her name, they also encourage other stakeholders to join. So it's very much, they're probably implying that somebody like President Sako should join, because that's what they're asking for. They know that there's a big void there. So this process may not be as thorough if these other people that are considered stakeholders do not participate. It's there in that one paragraph in that statement. So I don't think that you would have thought that the president was lying, because it really states that they're encouraging other stakeholders to join the process.
Now, the president has not denied involvement.
Yes.
From what his vice said on Monday, the president has said, he said it categorically, that if Cameroon chooses to be a part of the process, he will humbly call them that, hey, please add me to it. I want to be a part. Now that Cameroon is there,
yes,
that means we're getting serious.
yes.
Why am I'm intentionally pushing through this?
Yes.
Because these Cameroon facilitators have been conscientizing those of us who believe that whatever was taking place in Canada was a flop.
Mm-hmm.
And today, we have a recent message, I think it's a tweet from Melanie,
mm-hmm.
saying that whatever is happening is messy.
It's messy.
Please read her tweet for us.
Well, let me get to it.
You see, Melanie is just so interesting because she knows how to animate her audience. Wherever Melanie is coming from, it's appalling because she is a wonderful lady who understands what it means to do animation. Now she says she has not debunked Cameroon's statement. Renee Sadi has denied her,
mm-hmm.
and she has not debunked it. But she has, she is kind of enjoying some other things happening here, Dr. Patience. It's amazing.
Yeah. So the caption, it's really a tweet of somebody tweeting what she said. So the caption says, Foreign Minister Melanie Joly says Cameroon peace talks messy, but should continue.
So okay, someone spoke on her behalf in this situation.
No, she's one speaking, but the tweet was somebody tweeting her message. So that tweet is the title of what she said. So she's been paraphrased by someone. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly gave no explanation Tuesday for Cameroon claiming it never sought Canada's help to peace talks. She said Ottawa still wants to broker a deal. So now she's responding to are you okay?
Yes.
She's responding to what the Cameroonian government said about the process.
Yeah.
So she is saying that it's messy, but the talks should continue. So we really don't know where this will lead to, because it seemed to be an impasse. How can you say that there was a process where you included Cameroonian as being one of the participants, and then within 2 days, that other participant is saying that, no, we're not part of it. We don't know what you're talking about. So when they were having all this, now this is a question, when they were having all these meetings in Canada, before they came and drafted this document that was signed by 4 of the people I just mentioned, who were the delegation, or who were the people representing the Cameroon government? We know the names of those who are apparently representing Ambazonia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those names, Akwanga, Chuayaba, Yorimia, and Taylor. Who are the names representing Cameroonian government? Is it President Biya? Is it Golengole? Who is it? Who are those? That's the question we have to ask.
Yeah, so you have these individuals are naturally unwilling to tell us their representatives. That's another concern.
Yeah.
So now that Cameroon is denying, but you find these individuals insisting. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Cameroon contractors and facilitators are looking for something to deliver. Those who have chosen to call themselves Anglophones.
Mm-hmm.
They have been mandated actually by Yaoundé, not for the kind of peace talks.
Absolutely.
But probably to manipulate the genuine freedom fighters through their pre-talks, through the supposed pre-talks. What do you think about that, Dr. Patience?
So you're saying that these meetings have been taking place.
These are clandestine meetings, and that's why they are backdoor meetings.
Yes.
And that's why participants are not proud enough to say who they are.
Yes.
Their sponsors are not saying it. But they are claiming, one faction of it, lofty faction, is claiming that they're talking with Cameroon. And Cameroon now just denied all of them.
You know what?
So what do you think could be the cliche? Because that is the point we want to bring here.
I think that it's very possible that you have some Anglophones, right? Some Anglophones that are Cameroonians, not Ambazonians, that are there representing the government of Cameroon. And that's why this minister can come out and say that they are talking to people from both parties, or from all, from the government of Cameroon and Ambazonia, because it will be somebody who, it's not going to be somebody who is a francophone or who came from the French Cameroon origin.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so. It's going to be somebody who came from the Southern Cameroon origin, where when we got our independence, we were formerly the former British Southern Cameroons. But these are individuals that are one Cameroonese. They prefer the one Cameroon. So somebody like Agombala, who is our brother, because rightfully he was really a son of the soil, but he prefers one.
No, he's a man from Manu.
Yes,
no doubt about that.
So what I'm saying is that I think, that's my guess, that those who went to this meeting and are apparently engaged in talks are not bona fide French Cameroonians.
You think so?
I think so. I may be wrong, but I think so.
So why will Cameroon be using Anglophones who have chosen to be Anglophones to do this? Why do you think Cameroon subscribed them? What do they hope to achieve in this deceptive process?
It's the divide and conquer thing all over again, because now we are all ourselves, we're still divided. We cannot come to some consensus to be able to get peace, because if those who are representing Ambazonians, the Ayaba, the Akwanga, the Yorimia, if they were truly Ambazonians, then they will not be meeting with their counterparts that are already Ambazonians but are Anglophones. Because think about it, we have not seen any document or names of people that represent French Cameroon. You've not seen anything. So I think they're only our people that are meeting, because they've been having these meetings with CDN all along. So the people like the what is his name? Akuro and all the people like that really want one Cameroon. Those are the ones that they're meeting. So this lady that is the foreign minister probably doesn't really know the difference that well. So it will come out eventually, because that's why she's believing that they are trying to buffer peace amongst people that believe in different things. But if you're trying to buffer peace among people that believe in different things that are only Southern Cameroonians originally, you will go nowhere. You will go nowhere.
Now, Dr. Pesce, this is what I do not seem to understand. You see, why do these individuals, some of them a few days ago, called themselves, they actually made us to believe that by some means they were freedom fighters. Now they call themselves freedom fighters, and then all of a sudden they are so desperate and begging to talk with Cameroon, because from what is happening, these guys are begging to talk with Cameroon. Cameroon seemingly is not interested. They're begging to talk. Now you see the spokesman Kapodani and themselves. They're actually begging to talk with Cameroon. What could possibly be the reason why Because this is begging to talk with Cameroon. Let's say Cameroon sent their prime minister, for instance, to invite these guys for some pre-talks. You get so excited about the pre-talks. It's like they have lost focus. They have, some believe that they have sold out.
Yeah.
And now they are still trying to claim some relevance, and they will get themselves into such a thing. Rene Sadi is saying that they're not interested, or Cameroon has not mandated anyone. That's disgraceful. Don't you think?
I think so. Let me answer that question by saying that these individuals are really selfish. They're thinking about number one, themselves. Because if they were really, really interested in what Ambazonia wants, then even though the IG that started Team Ambazonia Coalition Team, is on quote right now not part of the Team Ambazonia that went to this fake peace process, they would have come there as one. You should have had a document signed as Ambazonia Coalition Team, not as individual, because you have AGOV-C coming as AGOV-C. Why is AGOV-C not part of Ambazonia Coalition Team? Why is IGK not part of Ambazonia Coalition Team? Because they want to stand out for some reason, some power structure right there. Because if they were really interested in what Ambazonia wants, then all of them will be part of Ambazonia Coalition Team. And then this person, the Melanie Jolie, who is trying to brokerage peace, would say that it's between Ambazonia Coalition Team and the government of Cameroon.
Yeah.
And that's what President Sako wanted when the Ambazonia Coalition Team was created. You go as a team. But now you have a team, individual. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that they are not serious. They are looking for number one themselves. And mind you, that when they talk about confidence building,
you are even talking about them being serious.
Yeah.
There are other Ambazonians who think that they have sold out, but they are just mimicking to be revolutionists.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
Okay.
Because way back, we remember that Akwanga had already agreed to a ceasefire. There were some tweets that.
And at that time, he was a member of
Ambazonia Coalition Team.
Of Team Ambazonia.
Exactly. And the president was really
objected to that.
And we had a statement that was out that you cannot be giving a ceasefire unilaterally when you are part of a team that has not agreed that. So he was gone. Cho Ayaba, remember, he wanted to be part of what is happening in Nigeria. He has his own goals, his own aspirations, and I hate to say this, but I don't understand why we are trusting somebody who is in charge of, who goes on kidnapping our people and is brutalizing our people through ADF, because that's what Cho Ayaba does. Why would he be entrusted? Does Melanie, Jolie Melanie, know this about Cho Ayaba? Because he should not be counted as one of the leaders if they want a leader. He has been brutalizing our people through kidnapping for ransom. So, please.
Now let's face it. The situation of Cho Ayaba is particular. I don't even want to go into that today. It may distract us. You see, we're getting into the genesis of it, so that Ambazonians should understand the concerns of the interim government in as far as this is all concerned. We had an Akwanga who has been unstable with his ideology. These individuals have been talking, our intelligence has it, that they have been talking with agents of John Gute. And we know that John Gute is an irrelevant in the Cameroonian government. He has no use. They are just using him. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Good. So that is it. Now, we have something which is quite interesting, and Ambazonians may really be interested in this. We also have the how do you call it, the U.S. embassy in Yaoundé now saying that they are saying that the U.S. embassy welcomes Melanie Jolie. This is just yesterday. This was tweeted yesterday. U.S. Embassy welcomes Melanie Jolie's announcement of talks to resolve the crisis in Cameroon's northwest. Now they're trying to be a little bit specific because the vice president said something. There is no conflict in Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
There is no conflict in Yaoundé. There is no war in Yaoundé.
Yes.
So you cannot be talking about peace in Cameroon, whereas Cameroon in itself, La République du Cameroon, is peaceful.
Right.
So the United States, whoever is the agent of these criminals within that structure, knows this and is trying to be a little bit more specific. He says the U.S. Embassy welcomes Melanie Jolie's announcements of talks to resolve the crisis in Cameroon's northwest and southwest regions. Very insulting, as well as indications of support from multiple stakeholders. We commend President Biya, the Cameroonian government, and all parties to the discussions for their courage in taking these important positive steps towards a sustainable peace. This was just done yesterday.
Yes.
Now the fact is
on the 23rd.
So you realize that these are technicians trying to drought or to possibly drown. They want to drown the voices of maybe those who are now they want to drown Rene Sadi's statement. Perhaps there's a quarreling at the background.
No, not really, because it's very possible that this statement came out before Rene Sadi. It came out the same day. This statement was made on the 23rd.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, it's a tweet that came out at 11:05 a.m. on the 23rd.
Okay.
It's very likely that Rene Sadi's announcement came out after this. So two things are going on. When this statement was made, the U.S. Embassy had not seen Rene Sadi's statement, or they do not communicate. Because it's a possible, if it were that they were in communication, then maybe the U.S. government, the U.S. Embassy would have already spoken with somebody there and say, oh, I know this is happening. I'm happy you guys are doing this to help solve this problem. They would have had some sort of communication. Mm-hmm. So this tweet is only in response to what the Canadian put out, meaning that the U.S. Embassy that sent out this tweet had no communication with Yaoundé to know that, no, we are not even part of this process. This is false. So the information came out on the same day, but one before the other.
So one of these whole thing is kind of faulty.
Oh yeah.
But then these are intellectuals. They are not now. Dr. Patience, you listen to this. I'm trying to figure out, because they want to claim that nobody knows, nothing, so they can say anything. You realize that the direction they are going is peace against all odds. Whatever will bring peace. Mm-hmm. But is that the problem we're facing? Is that the question? Is it about peace or is it about justice? Nobody is interested in the root causes. They're not talking about just the crisis. Because the crisis or whatever conflict is a consequence of the problem.
Right.
We've not heard any categorical statement seeming to address the root cause of the problem. What do they hope to achieve with this?
Well, if you were reading what maybe we want to even read what those who claim that they're representing Ambazonia, the statement from the 4 individuals. If you read what they write, I can read it.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
They say that in the past 4 months, delegates of the Republic. So this is another thing also. If these individuals are saying this, maybe we'll address this before we talk about the other question. In the past 4 months, delegates of the Republic of Cameroon and the former United Nations Trust Territory of the British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, have been holding free talks as first steps towards comprehensively addressing the root causes of Ambazonia's liberation war. That is the introductory statement from these 4 individuals.
Okay.
So, right here, fellow Ambazonians, this very first sentence is saying that somebody is telling a lie. Either La République, what's his name? The one who sent out the statement, Rene, either he's telling a lie or the Canadians and these 4 individuals are telling a lie. Are you getting my point, Patty? Because the very first sentence, it says, in the past 4 months, delegates of the Republic of Cameroon and the former United Nations Trust Territory of the British Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia, have been holding pre-talks as first steps towards comprehensively addressing the root causes of the Ambazonian Liberation War. So you ask the question, what are they meeting for? They are telling us that they want to address the root causes. Is that true?
That they want to address the root causes.
Yes, that's what they say in this.
So why now, if they are genuine about that,
Mm-hmm.
why ignore due process and protocols? So that brings us, and this document was signed by Akwanga, Cho Ayaba, Yerima,
and the Taylor,
and a certain Taylor of a certain Amazonia coalition. So you see, these guys are deceptive, using titles to give some relevance to themselves, and what is of substance they're ignoring, because the document, every document these individuals are signing is a manipulation. Don't you think so?
Yeah, because in fact, the only way they can advert the contradiction that is going on right now, the only way they can come out and say that, okay, La République is telling a lie, is for them to mention the names of those they've been meeting with, because they would know. If they've been having pre-talks, they know the individuals they've been meeting with, right?
Yeah.
Hey, why should it be a secret? Why don't come
according
and say,
to this document,
yeah,
in the past 4 months, delegates of the Republic of Cameroon,
yes,
and the former United Nations Trust Territory
mm-hmm.
of the British Southern Cameroons,
mm-hmm.
have been holding pre-talks as first steps towards comprehensively addressing the root causes of the Ambazonian Liberation War. Lies.
Yeah, that's a major statement right there.
So
yeah.
let these delegates
Mm-hmm.
come with lettre de mission.
Yes.
So that we can examine this. It says, in the presence of the United Nations observer,
yes,
both parties have signed a joint declaration of commitment, committing to a negotiated process from which a comprehensive negotiated settlement shall emanate, and mandated Canada as the facilitator of this process.
Okay, that's the other way to
So,
get facilitator.
Now, let's understand something.
Yeah.
Facilitator, mediator, they have no difference when it comes to conflict resolutions. They are interchangeably used. Now, a facilitator and a facilitator always talks to both parties.
I disagree with you on that.
Now, what do you think could be the difference?
Well, I think, or I believe, I'm not a politician, I'm not a legal scholar, but I think a mediator carries more weight in the peace process.
What weight? If that's what that's the difference.
Okay,
people
a facilitator gives you the location, gives you the facilities, and how do you solve your problem between the two of you. A mediator will give examples and tell you that maybe if you do it this way, this will happen, or consider this, consider. They give you they give you directions.
But okay, what I thought you were going to say is that perhaps the mediator comes to the point of settlements by putting some dictates. But this is the point. The facilitator provides resources, which you're right.
Right.
Also provide advice and also help the individuals on how to negotiate. But a mediator plays a bigger role.
Absolutely.
By possibly setting certain conditions or standards that are obligatorily going to be met. Now, whichever way, they are those are words, because if you look at it keenly, they're not ignorant of those words. These words are interchangeably used. You get it, Dr. Patience? If you look at it very well, it says, we take opportunity to thank our delegates from their steadfastness and dedication. So you find these individuals who have decided to deceive Amazonians proudly coming to talk of who they are and talking about themselves. But then Cameroon's representatives, this is where you see there's a scam.
Yes.
Cameroon's representatives are nowhere to be found.
Absolutely.
That's why. But there's also something I'd like you to realize, Dr. Patience. This is what I want you to notice. Rene Sadi said they have not mandated. This statement didn't say Cameroon mandated. Let's read it. Okay. It says, in the presence of the United Nations as observer, both parties have signed a joint declaration of commitment, committing to a negotiated process from which a comprehensive negotiated settlement shall emanate, and mandated Canada as. So who were those who mandated Canada?
But that is,
now, let me finish.
Yeah.
These individuals who mandated Canada are not La République du Cameroon. The both parties there they are talking about are the UN observers, and they say in the presence of the United States observers.
No, they are saying that they, Ambazonia on one side,
yes,
with all those names that signed,
yeah,
and
they have mandated Canada.
Exactly, and also La République du Cameroon.
So La République du Cameroon is saying that they have not mandated Canada.
Absolutely, and so
it also does not deny that La République is not denying La République's involvement in Britain.
But let's read what they say. Let's read what Rene said.
I think we should go into it.
Yeah,
Rene cannot deceive us.
Let's read exactly what he said, because that will, even from his very first sentence. I have it here if you want me to read it.
You're talking about Rene Sadi's statement?
Yes.
Okay, let's go through that.
Yeah.
Let's go through it.
Because he says, and this statement came out January 23rd.
Yeah.
He says, following recent information disseminated by certain media, the government of the Republic of Cameroon informs national and international community that it has not entrusted any foreign country or external entity with any role of mediator or facilitator to settle the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions. When you read this your own statement, it's opposite to the statement from the other people, from the one signed by Cho Ayaba and all the like. So what does that tell you?
Now, at the end of the day, there has been pre-talks. We cannot deny that.
Yes.
Okay. Let us not call it pre-talks. There has been talks, discussions.
Yes.
Because when you call it pre-talks, it's like you have a major talk. You guys have been talking and related. So let me make that correction. There has been talks. But who are they talking with? The officials from the Cameroon government. You must know what the Cameroonian government is. The Cameroonian government has mafia individuals who can do a deal and deny it. The Cameroonian government sends them to do things and deny. They don't go with mission order or mission statements. You must understand that the Cameroonian government has enablers purporting themselves as Ambazonians, you must understand that the Cameroonian government also has Anglophones purporting themselves as Southern Cameroonians, and they would do anything to maintain their interest within the Cameroon system. So there are chances that Rene Sadi, who is a very relevant element in that government, and Bellinger and the others, those real people within the government were not available in the pre-talks, in quotes, in their pre-talks. Or perhaps they really never had the intention of having a talk that will lead to any reasonable process of fairness or justice and then peace. They just wanted a manipulation.
Yes, just
because you're rushing into peace talks when we do not understand in reality those who are involved. What do you think?
You know, in that same document that we just read, yes, there's a paragraph that may confirm what you're just saying. It says, the government of the Republic thanks friendly countries and international institutions for the interest they take in our country and for the multifaceted support they provide. So this paragraph somehow may be considered a little bit contradictory to their first statement, because it's almost saying that, yes, there are some foreign countries that are interested. So maybe this is what Canada is doing. And they're thanking Canada. Although in their first sentence, they say that, no, we are not part of what they are saying.
Yeah.
So in that sense, maybe it's just a tactic to string us along while they continue to do what they do best, continue to kill our people, continue to try to weaken us, our spirit, and think that as time goes on, we will give up. That's the game they're playing.
You know, but what amazes me is the statement of the U.S. ambassador, or whoever he calls himself. That is what amazes me. He makes a very, very categorical statement. Very, very, very categorical statement. And this is what he has to say. Let's go through it again. You know, it's like superimposing the U.S. presence into some certain peace talks. So the U.S. embassy welcomes, and I appreciate the fact that he didn't say the U.S. government. He said the U.S. embassy in Yaoundé actually welcomes Melanie Joly's announcement of talks to resolve the crisis in Cameroon's northwest and southwest region. Is this how the United States of America, I need to ask whoever is there, the ambassador, is this how the United States of America got their independence?
So
This is disgraceful, you know.
You know, I think this is just a reaction from what is going on. I don't think that it's something that they had to go take the opinion of the American government towards what is happening in Canada. I think this was just a reaction that, if the Canadian Foreign Affairs Minister can put out a statement that they are doing this, then okay, the ambassador can just send a tweet that is very.
So is their mafia?
It's an innocent tweet, really, because you can interpret it whatever way you want. So it doesn't really. It's not binding to them. It's just something that, somebody is trying to help. Thank you for trying to help. But it's not saying that the United States is 100% supportive of what the Canadian is doing, and because of that, we're doing X, Y, Z. We haven't seen anything of that nature. You know.
Okay, Dr. Passion, we've examined this from all different angles. You used to be a member of, or you're still a member of Team Ambazonia. I want to ask you a very serious question. This whole Taylor talking on behalf of Team Ambazonia, how do you guys in Team Ambazonia planning to handle such a funny situation? Because Angelina said himself, it is messy.
You know, I think Dr. Ellard and Mawini,
Yeah,
because before all these things happening, Mawini is really the current chair of Team Ambazonia.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will come up with a statement
in that regard.
In that regard. But if I were to make a comment based on what I know that Taylor is also a member of APLM and / SOCADEF. They come together. And APLM, African People's Liberation Movement, which came about from Dr. Kwanga, shows that probably he had already given up. I don't know why you go make a movement called African People Liberation Movement when you're still trying to liberate your own people. It should have been Ambazonians People Liberation Movement, if you ask me. But you know, it's neither here nor there. That's his.
Well, people have their vision, and we will not decide for them.
Yeah,
but their decisions also define who they are.
Exactly.
And there's just a whole lot about Akwanga, Cho, Ayaba, Akuru superimposing himself and creating a consortium that we do not even know where it was existing.
Yeah. But I digress. Let me go back. So this Taylor, in fact, why would he sign a document on behalf of ACT?
Yeah.
There are two possibilities. It's possible that he's the current chair because every time ACT has chairs, so maybe he's a chair of ACT. If he's a chair of ACT, then it would only mean that he's gotten endorsement by the other movements.
Yeah.
Including, and I always have to go to Bo Herbert because he's a senior person there. So
he should be able to answer.
Bo Herbert has to come out. Comrade Bo Herbert, if you are listening to my patients right now, to the Ambazonian people, you probably have to come out with a statement telling us.
Or we will conclude that we are silent as compliance.
Yes. Telling the people that you knew about everything that was going on and you're part of it.
Yeah.
You know. Please. And then there are other people there that I don't think they're that, because they have members that are just two-man team. There's chefs from Rouen. I don't even know what they do. There's Paatang has a history because Capo Scam did a lot for the struggle in the past. So he's also there. Paatang also is a responsible somebody. He can come up with a statement and say that Scam supports the initiative of the Canadian to broker peace, but it's just too chaotic. It smells fishy to me. What is happening?
Okay, I'm so happy that you would have to say this. We're about exceeding our time, so I want to ask you the last few questions.
Okay.
From your survey on diplomacy, what would you advise the interim government? Because these are perilous times. The attack is in different dimensions and so serious. What would you advise the interim government to do?
Okay. You know, there have been statements made by people like Professor Anyangwe, even in this statement that came out from Melanie Jolie and some other things that I read, that they're encouraging, they are planning to have what they call confidence building measures. And confidence building measures is things that are done. I'm not a diplomat again, so I may not explain as well as somebody in political science or an illegal mind will do. But they are instruments that are used to show goodwill from both sides. You do one, I do the other. For example, if La République were to decide to release prisoners of conscience, then Ambazonia will say, okay, because you've done that good deed, we may decide to stop ghost towns. My advice, to answer your question, to the interim government would be to start working diligently behind the scenes to build the technical teams that we would need, because this government, President Sako, this government will be the one to book up to work to get a negotiated settlement for Ambazonia. Our goal is to be recognized as a 55th nation in Africa.
Wow.
That's our goal, nothing less. So this government has to be doing some work behind the scenes. And we should never, ever let go of Ghost Town. We should never let go of Country Sunday. That should never be one of the confidence building measures that we abide to. Country Sundays is the strongest position of the people saying that we want to be Ambazonians. The day we let go of Country Sunday, it means that we don't want to be Ambazonian anymore. So that would be my advice to the government, to our government.
We have said all. We have criticized all. But what do you make out of the conduct of the Cameroon government? They boycotted Swiss. They send their clandestine and proxies to talk with some who have chosen to surrender.
Mm-hmm.
And then they boycotted Swiss. Now they reject this statement. Discussed by Amba, Canadian Foreign Affairs. Now, don't you think that Cameroon is just looking for a way to win Ambazonia in this war, just to conquer Ambazonia?
You know, they really believe that. I think they've gotten some juice, if you will. They think that because the United States of America was able to arrest a couple of our people,
mm-hmm.
they think that may give them some
leverage
to say, oh,
to come,
because in that statement that Rene's sent out, he also thanked the United States for arresting some of our people. So they claim that it's that we are terrorists, and I think they are just playing a game to string us along for as long as they can.
Yes, and those are all delay tactics.
Yeah, delay tactics. But there are tweets that have gone out there, and I'll refer to somebody like Thibault Nash, that say you cannot defeat the spirit of the Amazonian. We want to win this in our lifetime.
Yeah.
But if we don't do it in our lifetime, our children will do it. Or our grandchildren will do it. Yeah. Our children's children. Because the truth is on our side. God is on our side.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way. La Republique has created so many orphans out there. Yeah. There is a child out there that is just waiting to be the person that will come out and do so much damage to La Republique that they may think that, where did this child come from?
Yeah.
You better settle with those who are here right now. Don't wait for 10 years, 20 years from now. Take care of this problem now. Otherwise, La Republique du Cameroon, as the president always says, will never have peace as long as there's no peace in Ambazonia.
Yes, so he says, if there is no peace in Ambazonia, there will be no peace in La Republique du Cameroon.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that was a very powerful statement. It's been like 5 years since he made that statement. Mm-hmm. And we queued into it, and we're fighting on to today. Why those who have surrendered would rather not just surrender to stay quiet. They have surrendered and have taken Nyongo money to make sure that we're all swallowed. Well, Dr. Patience, I am glad that I had you in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
We have discussed, but this is just the first part of the discussion. We will be transitioning shortly to connect online with Ochiba Nursing and War Child. And then we'll further the discussion to break down and look up. So I'll be going through tweets to see if there's any update and for us to have in this discussion. Now, what is Team Ambazonia under the leadership of the new chair now? I'm talking about the real Team Ambazonia, doing to make sure that they can save the Amazonian public from such a shame?
Okay, so to answer that, I just want to make a comment. And this is something that the president had mentioned before, but I just want to echo it again so that people should start understanding the difference. That there really is a difference between Ambazonian coalition team that was created in 2019, September 2019, and Team Ambazonia.
Okay.
At that time they used to call it Team Ambazonia, but we're going to separate the name now. Team Ambazonia is the team that is for Ambazonia, and it's the team that is with our interim government.
You cannot use our title if you're not us.
Yes. So Team Ambazonia is the IG's team. Ambazonia Coalition Team is a group of movements together that are trying to go and
preparing themselves for an eventual
and they do not represent the people because you have people like EGOF, you have people like SCNC, Cometa, people like this Taylor that I mentioned, Akwanga. So those are individuals that are not.
No, but when you're talking, it's like you're trying to give more credence to those who own groups. You're aware of all the attempts to down the groups, and they're messed up.
So that's why I'm saying that they are not important. So let's keep that nomenclature different. But I wanted to say something. I came up with this this new name for some of our IGs. I now call all the fake IGs out there La Republic IGs. So all the Marianta or Chris Arnold that we've not mentioned today, their IGs are La Republic IGs because we know exactly how they came about and why they exist. Even including IGK is La Republic IG. So that's the difference between because of the divide and conquer. So you have La Republic IG and then you have the real IG. So let's take that as maybe a differentiation today that we can use when we have conversations.
Okay, so right now we have the different IGs, and there is a tweet by Tibonach, which is what we should focus on in conclusion. And Tibonach has tweeted a lot, but Tibonach weighs in, and this is what he has to say. He is saying something very interesting. I hope now Tibonach says that it says Cameroon government denier is authorized it authorized Canadian mediation in Amazonia crisis, disappointing but not surprising. Shows split. It shows a split. Wow. In the Biya regime. And indicates sides positioning for post-Biya government. Also sad indication that no voluntary changes likely from the regime without huge pressure. Now, Tibonach at the end of the day is giving irrelevant information. And you think Amazonia should take advantage of this whole mess?
But before, this is what you just read, his most recent tweet. If you were to go from the first tweet that had to do with Canada, we'll go backwards from the first one. He said, I applaud Canada trying to mediate in Amazonia. But my worry, government certainly has a unified position and desired outcome, which is continue their internal reconciliation in quotes. But Amazonia does not. Shouldn't they quickly agree on what outcome they want? Else, guess who wins? That was his first tweet when the message came out that the Canadians were trying to mediate or facilitate whatever word you want to use. And then the next tweet, the first one was on the 23rd in the morning, and then the same day on the 22nd in the morning, and the same day in the afternoon, he came out with this tweet that is more like a poke to a nose. How many Amazonia IGs does it take to change a light bulb? A can't be done since they argue over who holds ladder and who turns bulb. Seriously, if there was a real referendum, the people on the ground could pick their leaders instead of leaders picking their people. And then this last tweet that you just read was from the 24th, just yesterday in the morning.
Yeah.
In response to the fact that the government denied that it authorized Canada to mediate in the Amazonia crisis. But one thing you need to give credit to Tibonash is that he's been referring to us as Amazonia now for a long time. There's a show that I did on the Horizon that I followed his tweets for a while.
Mm-hmm.
He used to refer to us as Anglophones, Southern Cameroonians, and then progressively he started referring to us as Ambazonians.
He respects
I think that is very important.
Okay, Dr. Patience, thank you very much. You have, in a way, summarized this discussion with these people. It was glad to have you with exclusive discussions. Is there any last thing you want to give, please?
Oh, yeah, thank you. I just want to really ask our people to continue to have the faith that we have, to stay resilient, to be your brother's keeper. And our Ambazonia Restoration Forces, we applaud you. Thank you for keeping Ambazonia safe. Thank you for all the sacrifice. And we know that this is a long journey, but you always get to the end of your journey. And we really believe that God is on our side, and we have a very devoted and wise leader who is also very godly, leading us. No matter the manipulations from La Republique and the other Anglophones and the other people that are maybe considered traitors, we will get there. We'll get there. Thank you so much, Friday, for having me at Idea Studio.
Indeed, we'll get there. Everybody has spoken. The president has escalated his tweets these days. We'll be talking on that subsequently, and to help us get on Twitter to tweet big time. That notwithstanding, stay tuned, and after the break, we will definitely come back to break down this show in a way that you will never believe it. Stay tuned.